everyone, welcome to Lake Tahoe, Nevada. Today we're going to do a little flight around this area in an aircraft that you may or may not have heard of before. It's a German-made motor glider, and it's by a new developer called Propair Flight. This is the Falke SF-25 C. And the point of the motor glider is to just basically eliminate the need of a tow plane or a winch to get up into the air and use a motor, and then cut the motor off when you want to glide. Now I'm doing a full written review and video review for the FSElite channel and website of this aircraft, so look out for it on there. Today we're just going to take it up and have some fun with it. I'm going to save most of my opinions for that review, and like I said, today we're just going to have some fun on this test flight around Lake Tahoe. So we pretty much have everything configured. We're going to close the canopy, and then we will crank her over and get the engine started and make our way out of Lake Tahoe. We're on the southern part of the lake now. We're going to go up to the northern part and try to do some ridge soaring on the peaks that are over there. Sometimes it takes up a couple of times to get the engine to start, but it starts up nice, and we're just getting the choke open right now. And letting everything rise up. Now this is Orbx scenery, Orbx Lake Tahoe. I haven't been able to spend too much time around this airport, but it looks great. I've only flown into it probably a couple of times since I got it. But very detailed as always. Of course, it's Orbx. Alright, so we're ready to taxi. Today we're going to be departing runway 36 at Lake Tahoe. The usual procedures are you depart 36 and you land on 1A, kind of like Telluride Airport, where you have a similar situation over there. So right now we're going to taxi over to 36, and let's see, we're going to be going to, what are we going to, we're going to taxi over to Delta Alpha to Bravo, and that'll put us on to 36. Now, I just felt like this would be a great place to glide, especially in this aircraft. So yeah, I planned Lake Tahoe. I'm doing some other areas too, all around the world. Of course, in Germany, being this is a German glider. So this is Delta right here, putting us onto Alpha. Really some nice weather. There was a lot of storms rolling through this part of the country, through Northern California, Nevada, around this area for the last week, and now it looks like a week of sunshine and clear weather. And this is a Saturday afternoon, so I couldn't think of a better time to fly. And here we are approaching Bravo and 36. The trees off to the distance there look great. One of my favorite things about this airport. So let's hold short right here. Make sure no one's coming in. Put up the cowl flaps so we don't lose our engine a little bit after departure. And that's the side we'll be coming in later. That's 1A, no one's coming in over there. And we'll check the 36 side, just in case. And that's it. Let's go line up and take off. Yeah, so like I said, the goal is we're going to go up a little bit north, and we're going to head east and try to do some ridge soaring around some of the peaks. If we get some good lift, I'll shut the engine off and we'll glide around and see what we can do. Right, we're going to put the throttle to full. And rotate. A little bit of a breeze coming in from the east, so we're going to try to just give it a little bit of rudder, stay lined up on the runway heading. And we'll just stay about around this speed for our climb out, pretty much for the whole flight. They recommend you stay around here. Look at those views. Now with this model, they give you the, they don't just give you this. This is the C. You also get the B and the E. And this model was improved upon over the B. And it gave the plane a new engine, 35 more horsepower, and also an alternator and a starter, which it didn't have before. So this is still one of the older versions, but more improved upon. And now we're going to throttle back to about 2,700 on the RPMs. So that'll be our climb power. And that's pretty much where you can leave it. You don't really want to mess with the throttle too much, just leave it there. And, you know, until you're on your way down for the landing, then you can throttle back to about 1,500. But 2,700 will work for now. And yeah, we'll just kind of stay on the edge of the lake. Get up to a little bit of the mountains over there. It kind of drops off over at the other side. The field elevation is about 6,200 feet, about 6,250 to 60, depending on what side of the runway you're on. So the elevation here is not it's not too small. They get a lot of snow in this area too, of course, with that elevation. So we'll see. Now this area I'm talking about right now, we're going to be in between the Genoa Peak and the Duane Bliss Peak, and that's where we'll be flying. Now notice here it kind of drops off, and off in the distance you'll have the you got the city of Minden, and the Minden Tahoe Airport is over that way. Not too far in that area. It's kind of hazy out that way today, so you can't see much, but it's over that way, and this is where we'll be doing the gliding. This is actually some of the first gliding I've done in this aircraft. I've shut the engine off a few times and just flown it around, which is technically gliding, but we're actually going to try to get some lift and sustain the flight a little bit longer today. Just hopefully we'll get some. We'll see. And it's also nice with this glider, It's a two-seater, which you don't see too often. I mean, well, most of them are two-seaters, but it's a front and back setup. This is a side-by-side, so your passenger would sit right next to you. Now, I like the paint scheme on this one. I think this is probably my favorite of the whole bunch that you get with this pack. Now we'll just do a 180 right now, because I think we're picking up a little bit of lift behind us. We're at about 9,000 feet, which from this area, I don't know what AGL that is over the mountains, but from the field, just a little under 3,000 feet above AGL from Lake Tahoe, where we took off from. And right around this area, we seem to be getting some consistent lift. So I'm going to throttle back right now, and then we'll turn the ignition off, and then we can glide in this area. We've already gained about 400 feet. There goes the engine, so I'll get the ignition. You want to let the engine cool down before you turn it off. So we'll just keep circling around this area, and we'll eventually hit the spot. Nothing really yet. It's kind of on and off. Right there, you can see it. Raises the nose a little bit. Now we're losing it. I'm gonna try to turn back this way. It's right around here. But I really love gliders. This is actually the first one I've used for prepared, the only one that I have now. I have one on, I got the Ask 21 on X-Plane 11, which came with it. But I need to find some others for prepared because I really enjoy gliding around here. Alright, so we're going to move on to another area, which I think this is more of the Doyne Bliss Peak that we're flying around now. And we're going to do the same thing. Try to do some ridge soaring off of these. I don't know about you guys, but if you haven't tried gliding in the simulator yet, it's a lot of fun. I don't like to turn on the thermals or anything. I don't like to see them. It's just not my style. I don't like to, I mean, you can't do that in real life. You're not going to see them. You're going to feel them and by looking at your instruments and what the plane is doing. And I just don't like seeing the big ugly marker that they have for thermals. But I mean, especially with the ridge soaring, when you're doing it, you know, around here in a nicely detailed area of the world, it's just a lot of fun. Especially around here. I've never really flown around this part of Lake Tahoe, just into the airport really, and haven't done much exploring. But just to come over the little mountain ridge and then to see how far it drops down, it's just a really nice place to do it. And I'll have to get back over here and do some more of this. So far, not much. Just little small amounts up and down. And what I love too is right as you hit it, the plane, it just lifts on its own, as it should. There we go, hitting a lot of it right there. We're still holding around 9,000, which is kind of where we've been for the last 15 minutes. Whoa, there's a lot right there. That is the most I think we've hit. Didn't gain too much altitude from that, but it's bringing us up, bringing the nose up. Doing this flight on Project Flight right now. If you want, you can add me on there if you're not using that. I highly recommend using it. Even for smaller stuff like this, like this glider, it works great. I mean, I love it. And you can track, you know, it tracks so many different points of what altitude and speed you were at. I mean, it's a great tool to go back and look at what you were doing. I'm actually doing this on VATSIM and Project Flight at the moment, but there's nobody in the area for VATSIM, so that's kind of that's doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's the networks I'm on. And as I always say, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Flickr, where I post pictures of the simulator and real world aviation when I happen to be around some of that. So I think we've had our fun with the gliding. It's, you know, I just wanted to test it out a little bit around these mountains. So we're going to head back over the airport. We're going to fly, we're flying towards southeast. And we're going to get the engine back on. I probably should have turned it on actually back before we started turning over this mountain just in case it didn't start. I could probably land somewhere down at Minden or even in a field if I had to, because there's not too much to land in down here if I don't make it. But the engine should start fine. But this would be interesting if I couldn't get it started again. I guess we might be able to glide our way back to Tahoe, but I doubt it. We could probably land in the lake or off to the shore. So we got the ignition back on. And let's go ahead and try to start her up. Almost. Now I'm going to try to go, well, put the throttle up a little bit. We'll see. I don't have too much experience yet restarting this in air. It wants to, but it's not quite doing it. Let's go. I'm going to try full throttle. Just open the throttle all the way. Yeah, here we go. Let's try that. There we go. Seemed to like it that time. So we're good. The airport is pretty much straight ahead off to our 10 o'clock. We'll go a little bit over the lake and then come straight in for 18. And here we are, over the lake, lining up with Tahoe. We are pretty much on the glide slope. We've throttled back to about 1500 RPMs, and we have the carb heat on, and from here, you don't really adjust the throttle at all. Once you get a little bit closer, you can start flying it in with the spoilers to control how fast you sink. But yeah, it's an aircraft that's just, it's nice. It just, you know, it lets you kill the engine, glide for a little while, turn the engine back on, and then fly on to wherever you need to go. And you don't always need to do that in a glider. I mean, you can glide for a very long time if you need to. Hours and hours. I've heard of people gliding for days. I don't know how true some of the stories are, but there are people who have done that type of thing. Gliding for 36 hours or more, which is very interesting because you start to wonder, how did they go to the bathroom, and you know, how were those things taken care of? But that's a topic for another video. Right now, we're just coming down. I wanted to include the full approach because it's just a pretty nice day. If it was too cloudy or anything, well, if it was super cloudy, we wouldn't be gliding at all, but it's just some nice scenery, so why not show all the footage. If you haven't checked out my vlog, I went gliding recently. My wife's uncle took us on a gliding trip around Tehachapi, California, and that whole weekend I did all kinds of aviation stuff, so I have that vlog on my channel. It was a pretty cool vlog, probably my most favorite vlog that I've done, aviation vlog, that is, and yeah, I think it's entertaining enough to where anybody would enjoy it, so you can check that out. Right now we're just going to make sure we're lined up on the runway and trying to maintain the present runway heading. But so far doing pretty good. At these speeds it's a lot easier to control an aircraft because, you know, you're not going as fast, so any slight little movement you do is not going to affect you too much as far as your position on the glide slope. You just come in nice and slow and accurate. I should get the throttle right on the money where I need it. Sometimes I when it comes to the RPMs, it's just a little bit too much above or a little bit too much below, but I actually got it right on the mark right now. I actually, my throttle problem has improved. I switched the arms. I mean, I had 6 different arms to choose from, so I moved it over one to the left, which is on a completely different quadrant, and it's working great. It's not wiggling around everywhere anymore, and that actually might be the weight from the piece that I added to it. I added a 737 replica arm to it, and the weight of that might be what was moving it, but I'm happy that it's not moving anymore. Maybe I can actually fly the Airbus without it giving me problems in that regard, so we will see. Well, I am going to be quiet at this point. We're going to go sterile cockpit, and I will speak to you again once we are rolling down the runway. And here we go, back at Lake Tahoe. Let's throttle back just a little bit. And we're gonna get back onto Delta. And then park the plane back where we had it, over by the tractors. And we will call it a day and get back to work on the review. So remember, I'm doing a written review. That'll be on the website, and the video review will be on the FSElite YouTube channel. I put a lot of work into it. I wanted to make sure there was a different, variety of footage, and I got to spend a decent amount of time with the aircraft and give the Propair Flight people a nice review of their aircraft. As I know they're new, and I think they're trying to, they're got to get more awareness about their aircraft and what they're doing. So, I'm happy to do that on this channel and on the FSElite channel, and try to get that sparked for them. Alright, hope you enjoyed that landing view. And then we're going to take a right up here. The wings on this plane are so long, because it's a glider, that it makes me nervous when I go by these aircraft that I'm going to clip them with my wing. Because it doesn't look like I have enough space, but I checked and I do, but it still kind of cuts it close. So I'm gonna hang over here to the right just a little bit. I don't wanna be paying any of the bills to fix these aircraft. See, it's just enough room. Probably even if I was centered on that yellow line, I could still make it, but It just makes me nervous. And the spot we were at is up here on the left. And that's where we'll park it, and we'll leave this plane for now. I might move it on my Project Fly fleet somewhere else eventually, but yeah, for now we'll just keep it at Tahoe. Now I'll line up on this spot here. Well, I want to thank everybody for checking out this video. And if you're looking for a good glider for Prepared, you might want to look into this aircraft. But make sure you wait until you hear the review, which I should have out later this week. I'm just, you know, trying my best to get it done and move on to other things. So this week sounds good. I think it'll be this week, and yeah, just look out for it on FSElite. I don't think it'll be disappointing. And that's gonna do it. We're gonna get the plane shut down, get our lights off, and yeah, everything's cut off, and we'll open the canopy, and we'll get out of here. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. I will see you guys next time. I hope you take care. See you later.